The Cowboys expect to have 90% of their game plan in by Saturday before they depart for Arizona on Sunday. The big question mark remains defensive end Charles Haley. He again missed practice Friday because of the flu. They'll know more about him next week. Off the field, the Cowboys have taken care of all the business of Super Bowl tickets and family situations. It can be a logistical nightmare for a team with immense popularity like the Dallas Cowboys. Reporting from Irving, Texas, I'm Chris Mortensen, ESPN.
Sun Devil Stadium, not the facility. Some guys traveling by bus. Aikman looking very businesslike as he boarded. Emmett looking very bored as he boarded. And the enterprising Deion Sanders finding a way to promote his soft drink of choice. Interestingly, though, some Cowboys used a limo service they contract in Dallas to transport them. There's about a dozen limousines here in Phoenix that are at the players' beck and call. So Michael Irvin going in style along with Leon Lett and Nate Newton. Big Nate tells us he did some ill-advised sightseeing last night.
Timmy Police came in and gave us a list of places not to go. I wrote them down and went, so I'm feeling real good today.
Well, obviously, Nate using the James Lofton Super Bowl handbook.
No way.
All right, no curfew for Dallas last night, or tonight and Tuesday. There'll be a midnight curfew Wednesday through Friday for them. James, you took in some of the Dallas practice there, and the big news is, of course, Charles Haley.
Yeah, the big news is not the guys who were on the practice field, but the guy who was not on the practice field. Charles Haley still stricken with the flu and is under a local doctor's care. So that's a situation that they're really going to have to keep their eyes on, because if he cannot practice by Wednesday, he's going against John Jackson, the best left tackle the AFC has to offer. And Charles Haley hasn't been on the football field since it seems like mid-season when he was ranting and raving about retirement. So here's a guy who hasn't played in quite a while, coming back to play against the best left tackle the AFC has to offer. He needs to be sharper than just a couple days practice.
We'll have to keep an eye on him through the next few days. Okay, we'll be back later in the show with a lot more from Phoenix, including some controversy surrounding the kid they call Slash. We're talking about Cordell Stewart. The Cowboys believe that kid may be in violation of uniform code. There's talk of an unfair advantage for Pittsburgh. We'll explain that later in the show.
The Steelers weren't in town even an hour when the Dallas Cowboys started complaining about a possible unfair advantage. Pittsburgh's all-around man, Cordell Stewart, has been wearing a quarterback's helmet, outfitted with a special communications device.
Their reasoning for allowing him not to allow him to wear the headset is that he was a quarterback when he was drafted. Well, there's a lot of players that are drafted as quarterback and moved to other positions.
We talked to Jerry Seaman last Thursday, and then he promptly got with Commissioner Tagliabue, and I serve on that competition committee, and we never intended in any way for any player other than a quarterback to be having any communication.
I had a little fun the other day. I was talking to Jerry Seaman about it, and I said, we're going to, you know how versatile Deion is. We're going to, he was a quarterback in high school. He's got a great arm. He plays baseball well. Now we're going to take a few snaps with him at quarterback, so we can put a headset in his helmet, too. He said, no, you can't do that.
Jones expects the league will allow Stewart to wear the quarterback's helmet in Sunday's game. But he also expects the NFL competition committee, on which he sits, to further refine the rules so that this won't, as he puts it, turn into a game of Star Wars. With the Dallas Cowboys, I'm Darren Kagan.
All right, thank you, Darren and Brent. Coach Bill Cowher of the Steelers downplayed the helmet issue, saying both of his quarterbacks wear the helmet. It's just that Cordell hears the play 15 seconds before Neil O'Donnell says it in the huddle. But it is expected to be addressed at the owners' meeting come the spring.
Thanks. Welcome to Phoenix, where it rained on Monday for the first time in 3 months, and that's not meant as a complaint, merely for your informational purposes only. Tom Jackson joins me here at the Arizona Center, our campgrounds. Tom's not smoking. That's his breath. It's very chilly. We're here all week long at the Arizona Center. We'll get Tommy's thoughts on both teams coming up in a moment. But first, the news of the day. The Cowboys, of course, blew into town on Sunday, their second visit here in less than a month. Dallas finished their regular season on Christmas night with a win over the Cardinals at Sun Devil Stadium. The boys worked out at the Cards training facility Monday, and Chris Mortensen was there asking questions.
The Dallas Cowboys had their first practice in Arizona Monday. It was in pads. It was described as brisk and physical. The one player missing, defensive end Charles Haley, who is being treated now for a viral infection. He had a 101-degree fever. He was being fed intravenously, according to Coach Barry Switzer, who wants to see Haley on the field by Wednesday's practice.
We've got to find out in the physical practice the next couple of days, or the next 3 days, that whether he can cope with the physical play of playing the run.
One dispute already brewing between the Cowboys and Steelers is the quarterback radio transmitter and Cordell Stewart's helmet. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, himself a member of the competition committee, tried unsuccessfully to have it removed for the Super Bowl.
If it doesn't make any difference, why can't we put it in our receivers' helmets? So that's what we ask, could we do? If it's not a competitive advantage, let us do it. We got turned down rather promptly.
Transportation was the most visual theme of the day. 4 players followed the team bus to practice in a white stretch limousine. Meanwhile, Jones's own luxury bus, on loan from singer Whitney Houston, was late to practice because it was stuck just outside the team hotel.
We got on the bus to go to practice this afternoon. He said he had been stuck and said he had drawn the interest of ESPN. And I said, well, you're famous now. You got more attention on that bus than Whitney did.
The Cowboys won't practice Tuesday, but they do have the traditional media day. I'm Chris Mortensen. Now let's go back to Dan Patrick.
Thank you, Chris. Barry Switzer has had a relaxed attitude towards this team since he's been there, unlike Jimmy Johnson. Are you surprised no curfew for this team until Wednesday?
Well, Barry Switzer has never been at this game. He's got some decisions to make as far as how much freedom he will give his team. He's got 27 guys who have never participated in a Super Bowl. Now, if they catch that party bug and they stay out tonight and tomorrow night, they won't prepare properly on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It'll affect how they play on Sunday.
Got another piece of NFL news for you before we exit stage left. Chris Mortensen tells us the 49ers have scheduled a press conference for 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It's expected the Niners will announce that former Niner head coach Bill Walsh will rejoin the organization in some capacity. ESPN's coverage of Super Bowl 30 will, of course, continue at 2 Eastern. Tommy and I return. We'll take a closer look at the storied rivalry between Dallas and Pittsburgh. For TJ, I'm Dan Patrick. Now back to you, Keith.
DP, thanks. Meanwhile, in the great tradition of Joe Montana and the town renamed for Troy Aikman, we bring you the picturesque village of Pittsburgh, Texas. Well, not anymore. It's not for this week anyway. At 11 a.m. prevailing local time this morning, they renamed it Cowboys, Texas. Next Monday, it'll go back to being Pittsburgh, and then maybe it becomes the town of Your Name Here, Texas.
And welcome back to our Sports Center coverage from Phoenix here at the Arizona Center. Tuesday, Arizona was more like Arizona. A picturesque tequila sunrise, sunshine all day, and it's a Super Bowl city. Phoenix was more like the Super Bowl city. Both the Cowboys and Steelers are now here, and both met the media head-on in uniform on the arid mesa of Sun Devil Stadium. After a 1-hour break, the Cowboys officially began their Super Bowl week that they hope will make history if it ends in a win. If that's the case, it would be 3 titles in 4 years, unprecedented over the 29 previous Super Bowls. Like the Steelers before them, they too have a Pro Bowl player returning to the field. Chris Mortensen tells us all about them Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys can all appreciate the news that Steelers cornerback Rod Woodson will return Sunday after having major knee surgery in September. Yes, they're happy for Rod, but in reality, they're not sure how it's going to impact this game.
How effective he's going to be, I don't know. He hasn't played all year, and coming off a knee injury like that, I've got to believe that he's a little bit tentative with it.
I've experienced that knee surgery. Man, that's nothing. That's deep. That's amazing. If he returns and playing this game, and effectively, that is amazing.
Even if he's not 100%, if he can go out there and play, it's going to be like a shot at B12.
Charles Haley is attempting his own amazing comeback after having back surgery over 6 weeks ago. He appears to have shaken the flu bug. He reiterated Tuesday he expects to start Sunday, but he's not as willing to prove himself in practice as Coach Barry Switzer has mandated.
You know, during the regular season, I didn't go out there and hit every play, so I'm not going to do it now just so they can see whether my back is well or not.
Other than Media Day, the Cowboys were off Tuesday and expected to enjoy their last night without curfew, with a warning from local police.
They gave us a list of places not to go, and I tried to ask the man to repeat them because that's where I was going.
Nate's a treat. We'll hear more from him later on.
That the game is a matchup of the boys versus the beard. Of course, the Cowboys have their fine postseason quarterback in Troy Aikman. He's 9-1 in playoff games. He goes against the Steelers' regular season MVP in Neil O'Donnell and his now famous facial hair. But know this, O'Donnell has to play the game of his life in order to beat Dallas. And I'm telling you that just being a hair better than Aikman probably won't be good enough.
I see a big, ugly damn beard that he needs to shave. I let it go. A lot of people wanted me to take it all off, but I said, no, it's not bothering me. I'll clean it up. It needed to be cleaned up. It really did.
With his beard under control, now maybe the attention can shift to O'Donnell's growth on the field. After missing 4 games early in the season with a broken finger, he came back to engineer the Steelers' transition to a wide-open offense.
I think we gained confidence showing them that we could run this hurry-up offense, the 5-wide package, the 4-wide package, and it's been probably the funnest year I ever had playing as a Steeler.
That's the thing you got to like about him is that he's not just going to Thick Pen or Mills. He's hitting everybody. Cordell Stewart, Hayes, he's hitting everybody, and they're all making big plays for him.
While Troy Aikman seems to get all the attention for his sparkling postseason record, O'Donnell knows when to turn it up, too, piling up nearly 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns in 6 playoff starts.
He's performed very well, so I wouldn't expect him to perform any differently. I think if he just becomes and stays Neil O'Donnell like he's been in big games, we'll be fine.
Taking the team 4 years to the playoffs. I played in 2 AFC championship games, and I'm playing in my first Super Bowl after 6 years, and that's not a bad resume.
Since O'Donnell is in the last year of his contract and stands to be a free agent, a winning performance in the Super Bowl would be a good addition to that resume. From Phoenix, Brent Weber, CNN Sports.
During Super Bowl week, the NFL is certainly user-friendly. And just in case you didn't ask all your questions at Media Day on Tuesday, both teams played Meet the Press Wednesday morning. One of the hot topics discussed at the Cowboys Breakfast Club was the play of tackle Eric Williams. Chris Mortensen has more on the player accused of playing dirty.
Cowboys defensive end Charles Haley, out since back surgery on December 6th, took a big step towards starting Sunday when he went full bore in pads throughout a spirited 2-hour practice Wednesday. Haley was sharp and quick and appeared to have the strength to go both inside and outside on his pass rushes. The Cowboys offense worked extensively against the various Steelers blitz packages. That's a style sure to create a physical game. It's also a style that Cowboys tackle Eric Williams prefers, but he's clearly tired of being labeled a dirty player, the latest charge coming from Steelers linebacker Greg Lloyd.
It's ridiculous. It happens every game, and it happens with a lot of different players. You know, you just can't play every play perfect.
He could be called a dirty player, and I could be called a dirty player. So, you know, I think he should just let football be football. And if he really thinks a dirty player, tell him go over there and line up over there with him then. Find out how dirty he really is.
For Haley, it's his 5th Super Bowl. For Coach Barry Switzer, it's his 1st. But Wednesday, he was slightly confused about what game his team is playing in.
That's why we're at the Orange Bowl. That's why Orange Bowl, my God. A big Orange Bowl. That's why we're at the big Orange Bowl.
He better hope it's not the Orange Bowl. Both the Steelers' Super Bowl victories over the Cowboys came in the Orange Bowl.
They are a team that does run north and south. They like to hammer you. They got a big back that can hammer you. And it starts there, and our defense knows it. For us to win the ball game, we've got to handle and control the running game.
Sterling's former teammate continues to take trips to the league's hardware store. On Wednesday, Brett Favre was honored as the NFL Player of the Year. Instead of bringing you a portion of his acceptance speech, we thought we would provide something far more valuable, Brett's Super Bowl pick.
I think Dallas will win it. I just think they got too much talent. They're a team that can play average and still beat most of the teams in this league. Pittsburgh, I have a lot of respect for them. I think they're a great football team, but I just don't think they can match up against Dallas.
There's the beautiful stadium in Tempe, Arizona, and hey, Sparky, how you doing? Nice to see you. So, Sparky, last night you left New York City. You arrived, what time did you arrive in Arizona there?
3 a.m.
Oh, you must be a tired little cowboy, huh?
Not really.
Yeah.
I like doing my job.
Yeah, what's the weather like? What's the weather like there, buddy?
It's pretty clear, sunny, skies.
Are people nice to you when you're out and around doing your job?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that guy behind you. See that guy in the yellow jacket? See that guy there? No, he's walking backwards.
That's the event staffer.
Yeah, okay. Can you bring me back one of those jackets, Sparky?
I'll try.
All right.
But there's a very slim chance you'll get one.
The kid's a punk. He's a punk.
Gotta be a staffer for the Super Bowl to get one.
Sparky, how was the flight out last night? Everything go okay?
It was pretty slow. It took about 3 hours to get from St. Louis, where we stopped, and then to get to Arizona.
Well, whose idea was it to stop in St. Louis?
Hey, that was our flight plan.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That was our flight
all right. We have some videotape of the flight last night. Here's Sparky Mortimer making the trip west. They're closing up. Everybody's getting ready. There's Sparky right there. Attaboy, Sparky. So, Sparky, is the hype as much as you thought it would be? Is it just everywhere? You can't go anywhere without people talking about the big Super Bowl. It must be driving everybody crazy, huh?
I know.
Yeah, were you busy today?
Yeah, I went to the Dallas Cowboys press conference.
All right, let's take a look at some of this activity of Super Bowl 30 with Sparky Mortimer.
Hi, I'm Sparky Mortimer. I'm covering the Super Bowl for David Letterman. We're here at the Dallas Cowboys press conference, and I'm going to try to talk to some of the players right now. Now, when did you start doing this, like, little dance thing? When did you start doing it?
Well, Mortimer, I've been doing this little dance thing since I was 7 years old. I've been high-stepping since then.
Hey, Phil. What's up, my man? Hey, Phil Donahue. I'm sorry to hear that your show is canceled.
We're going to have to play exceptionally well in order to win this week.
How good do you think you'll need to play to beat the Steelers?
I'm pretty good.
Okay, you pretty much know me, so I don't need to introduce myself, I think. Anyway, I don't know you because you're not a big name, but... How much can you bench press?
I can bench press almost 400 pounds.
Wow. I'm okay, Mom.
Nice going, Sparky. What are you going to do tonight, Sparky?
I'm going out to dinner.
What are you going to have, buddy?
Prime rib.
There you go. We'll see you tomorrow night. Good luck. It's Sparky Mortimer. Coverage of Super Bowl 30 continues from the Arizona Center. As advertised, Sterling and Joe T return. And I think that we've discussed this before a few times, but Troy's been here before. Neil O'Donnell's maiden voyage.
That's a very good observation.
Very astute, thank you. Being a former quarterback, do they prepare any differently?
Yeah, I really think they do, Dan. I think that both quarterbacks have to find their own way. What's going to be good for each of them is something that they're going to have to decide. One thing for certain, they're both going to start in Super Bowl 30. But really, that's about where the similarities end. Neil O'Donnell is new to the Super Bowl. Troy Aikman is not.
The first Super Bowl, I remember going to that game and saying that I'm gonna enjoy every minute of this.
You have to enjoy the moment. You have to go out there and have fun. So many people tell me, you know, don't get caught up in everything, you know, but have fun.
As much as you try to tell yourself, don't worry about the millions of people that are watching this ball game, just go out and relax and play. It's very difficult to relax, and you know, every quarterback's gone through it. So that would be my advice to Neil. But I say that knowing that when you get out there and you see it all, it's a lot tougher to do than you would think.
Aikman and O'Donnell, their seasons not that different. Their road to the Super Bowl not that smooth.
Look at this football team. We've been through so much. I mean, we were 3-4 3 months ago. No one was giving us a chance. You hear people say, oh, the Steelers in the Super Bowl.
In Dallas, you lose a ball game, and it's like it's the end of the world. That's the price of success, and this football team has been paying that price for 4 years now.
When we were 3-4, there was some finger pointing. It was so frustrating for me because I had to sit back and watch it all because I wasn't in the heat of the battle.
That's because O'Donnell missed the first half of the season with a broken finger. His return was a catalyst for Pittsburgh's 8-game win streak and playoff push. Aikman started 16 games for the first time since 1992, his first Super Bowl season. And to Troy, that was a long time ago.
I made a comment that this season had not been as enjoyable to me as what other years had been. Then all of a sudden, it snowballed into me not having any fun, and then to the point where I was having no fun in any regard to my life. It was like I was just existing.
A major difference, the relationship each quarterback shares with his head coach.
What's Bill like as a head coach? He's a great head coach. He's a young, aggressive. He really, you hear so much about a player's coach. And what's a player's coach? A player's coach is a guy who you want to go to war with him. I have something on my mind, and if I don't feel comfortable with something, it's very easy for me to go knock on Bill's door and say, listen, we have to change this or try that.
The relationship that I have with Barry right now is purely professional, and I don't say that with any type of edge on it. We don't go have dinner together or anything like that, but no, I get along fine with Barry.
One quarterback is the cornerstone of his franchise. The other is a free agent after the Super Bowl.
I would love to stay in Pittsburgh. I'm very happy there. I think it's something special that you could stay with one team your whole career, especially now at this free agency. But it's a business, I know that, so I'll just have to wait and see.
I got a vested interest in what happens to this football team beyond over the next year or two. I'm here for the next 7 years.
They share a distinction: the losing quarterbacks in last season's AFC and NFC championships.
When you're one game away from getting to the Super Bowl and you don't make it, it's a big letdown, there's no question. And you walk off that field very dejected.
I thought we played well enough to win, and we just fell 3 yards short. And back in Pittsburgh, no one would ever let me forgive that until I bring him back to another Super Bowl.
Even though this is now my 3rd Super Bowl to be a part of, I still know how fortunate I am, and I haven't lost sight of how difficult a journey it is to get back to the Super Bowl.
I think Sunday waiting to go to the stadium and play the game's going to be a very long day, but I'm excited, I really am. And you have to enjoy the moment, because you don't know when you'll ever be back there again.
Mortimer has arrived. Troy Aikman is explaining his yelling, and Barry Switzer is trying to get all the mistakes out of his system. Let's join Dan Patrick in Phoenix.
Craig, thanks. Welcome back to the Arizona Center on a day when we were treated to yet another Barryism. On Wednesday, Coach Switzer had the right day but the wrong bowl when he gushed about playing in Sunday's Orange Bowl. Then on Thursday, the Dallas head coach got the game right but the city wrong when he said, "It's sweet to be at the Super Bowl in Tucson." I just hope Barry has a ride to the game. Two guys who know where they are and what they're supposed to do at all time. Two guys who collectively have combined for one Super Bowl victory. Joe Theismann and Sterling Sharp. We'll hear their comments in a moment. But first, the news of the day. The Cowboys worked out for just under 2 hours at the Cardinal training facility. Charles Haley left 30 minutes early after suffering nausea from flu medication. Prior to the practice session, the boys had to answer reporters' questions for the final time. And for some of the boys, they've heard these questions before. Here's Chris Mortensen.
When the Cowboys reached the Super Bowl again, quarterback Troy Aikman spoke of self-inflicted wounds that the team had battled during its December slump. Thursday, those wounds became public when the Fort Worth Star-Telegram reported an incident in which former defensive line coach John Blake, who has since left to become the coach at Oklahoma, allegedly complained to Barry Switzer that Aikman seemed to target black players for occasional angry outbursts. Aikman acknowledged that he was forced to deal with the issue. He spoke with several black teammates last month.
You know, I've talked about there being, having been a lot of internal strife within our football team. Within our football team and our players, that has been resolved. You can go talk to any player on this football team and ask them, and I have no concerns with my relationships with any of them.
And you remember, 90% of the team is black, so therefore, you know, if he's going to yell at somebody, it's probably going to be a black guy that's making a mistake. If I thought he was a racist or something, you know, I would have been and told him that, you know.
I've been with Troy for 7 years and never saw it. John Blake had been there for 1.5 years, and supposedly he had seen it.
Blake was traveling Thursday, according to an Oklahoma official, and was unavailable for comment. Off camera, Switzer denied that Blake had accused Aikman, but acknowledged that there had been a discussion about the topic. ESPN earlier this month had been told of a specific incident that might have angered black players. Aikman visibly reacting to right tackle Eric Williams getting beat for a sack that ended the team's 20-17 defeat to Philadelphia on December 10th. Both players later shrugged off the incident.
Well, actually, at the time, Chris, I didn't know what Troy was saying, and I didn't know what was going on until, later that day.
It was frustrating for me at that time that they got to me with a 3-man rush, and that's what I was yelling, as they rushed 3 guys. It was not singling out Eric in any way.
The relationship between Switzer and Aikman has been icy for almost 2 years. According to one teammate, Aikman is holding Switzer accountable for failing to squash the allegation by one of his coaches. But clearly, Aikman is a popular man with the majority of his teammates, black or white.
I went up to him. I told him that if he stopped being Troy, then he'd really be a punk then.
He's like my wife, till death do us part. I would never play with another quarterback.
Obviously, this is a sensitive issue, and I don't want to make light of it, but Sterling, you've played with quarterbacks before who've yelled at you. You didn't hold them accountable and say you don't like me because I'm black.
Well, even Joe Theismann has yelled at me, and you don't take it personal when you're in the heat of battle. And the one thing that I like what the Cowboys did was they handled that in-house strife. They kept it in-house. They went to each other man to man, teammate to teammate, friend to friend, and they got the problem solved at the root. I mean, that's how they got here, Joe.
Well, what I was impressed with is it wasn't a problem with the players. It had come from a coach regarding a player. You didn't hear it from any of the players to Troy or from him. And as a quarterback, I've been in situations where when you yell at guys, you have to understand, you're yelling at the position and the player, not the color of the individual. You want to be successful. You want that position and those players to be successful. That's the only motivation that goes into that yelling and emotional outburst by a quarterback.
And in fairness to Troy, he's probably yelling at a number, not a face or a name in that situation. Also, exactly. Michael Irvin was quoted as saying, "I'm as black as anybody you ever see, and I know Troy loves me."
To recap the media doings at the Super Bowl today, both coaches had their final press conferences, while players from both the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers were off limits. Bill Cowher said that as the plot thickens this weekend with his family in town, his blueprint of breaking 11 years of AFC embarrassments is all set.
Coming in today, that's why I didn't bring him in until Friday. I mean, we have the game plan in, so everything's set right now. So anything they have to say, we're not making any changes.
I did enter the NFL with the most difficult criteria that could be. The only way I could ever be measured as a success, it was obviously to win the Super Bowl. And I understand that and accept it because of the talent level of this football team. But as I know my predecessor, when he arrived 1-15, that certainly wasn't expected of him.
Well, certainly the eyes upon the two coaches focusing differently, as Barry points out.
Nice to meet you, Chuck. Thanks. Make yourself comfortable. All right, the MVP in Super Bowl VI, he was the original captain comeback, Roger Staubach. We've had him Good to see you, Rod. Nice. Glad came in from the jumbotron.
Great pass, Roger.
We have our first question for you guys, and hopefully we'll have time to kick things around with this for this big game Sunday. All right, this is from the ESPNet, somebody from cyberspace. What do, and Roger, you can start with this. You can all comment. What do the older Cowboys think of this team's attitude? Are they still America's team, and how are they different? Because there's this image that they're a little bit brash, they're a little bit cocky, not the gentleman Cowboys of the old day.
Well, I think that they are a good representative of the Cowboys.
Really?
The players, when you get down to it, when you look at the Emmitt Smiths and the Irvins and the Aikmans and all they're very involved in the Dallas community, and there's a little bit of an entertainment to football today that's changed a little bit. I mean, Dion is an entertainer, but he's also works hard behind the scenes. Michael Irvin likes to entertain, but he also is out on the practice field longer than anybody else. So I think the city and the people that know the players really like this team as people besides being a good football team.
Okay, and Chuck, let me ask you. I mean, doesn't it bother you, though, to see Dion carrying? You would never do that type of thing after he intercepts a pass during a game, would you?
Well, I think it's a sign of time. Like Roger said, there's a little bit of showbiz with it today, and we didn't dance too well in those days.
Would it bother you, Harvey, if you're on the other team and somebody does that to you?
Oh, I used to just ask the guys not to do it kind of politely, especially after they beat our backs, but it's okay.
And then if they did, you'd stomp them. Okay. We have Larry Zock has some questions in the audience. Go ahead, Larry.
Before I launch into that, Harvey Martin on a football field never did anything politely, let me tell you. I'm here with a fellow Buckeye, Dan Kasanovich. Dan, who's your question to?
This is to Roger Staubach. Roger, as a Super Bowl MVP, obviously you're a hero to many young fans and one of the most highly visible games around. What kind of advice would you have for young aspiring athletes in high school?
Well, I think the big thing is that you got to use your talent to the fullest of your capabilities. And I think athletics teaches the importance of being able to do that. And also, it teaches that you have to work hard to be successful, and which is in school and also on the athletic field. And also, it teaches a lot of, to me, it's taught me a lot of perseverance. You just can't quit. You know, in life, you have your ups and downs, and you have your challenges. You have to deal with them. You can't change your values. You can't give up on your faith. And perseverance is a quality that I think that young kids in high school can have, whether they ever play professional football. As long as they're on the football field and they work hard, they use their talent to the best of their ability, and they persevere, they can transfer that into life itself. And those are qualities, whether you're at the high school level or college or professional, that are good qualities for transferring into life besides football.
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
We're gonna take some telephone calls now. Houston, hello. I sound like Larry King here. All right, let's go. Ed from New York. Is that Ed from New York? Go ahead. You're on America Talks to the Superstars on ESPN. Your question is for whom?
It's for any one of those great Cowboys.
All right.
Since the Cowboys are such a heavy favorite, how do they keep from being overconfident?
All right, Harvey, let's start with you on that. Well, how do you avoid overconfidence?
Well, I think they should look at the opponent. Of course, the Steelers are a very good football club. I think that they do realize that the Steelers did beat us in a couple of Super Bowls.
That doesn't bother you today. You're not bitter about that at all.
No, I just feel that they understand that, and I don't think that they wanted to beat 3 Super Bowls. So I pretty much figured that they're going out and play real good football. And they're just confident in themselves. They're not cocky or brash or anything. It's a very good football team. Are there any Cowboy fans in here?
Okay. That's why they're here.
The Dallas Cowboys went through their final walkthrough practice Saturday afternoon at Sun Devil Stadium. Then they returned here to the Buttes Hotel to check out and move to an undisclosed site where they will avoid distractions on the eve of the big game.
Once we move to the secret hotel, it's all over, man. We're doing it. It's time to play ball.
Obviously relieved that the hype is almost over as kickoff nears, players appeared loose and happy as they wrapped up preparations for their final pregame evening of the season.
We have meetings like everybody does and show some tapes of the team again, more tapes of the team we're playing against, and show our last practice, plays that we scripted.
We ready. I mean, ain't nothing else we can do besides go in and get a little more mental work done. Other than that, the physical work is done.
I'm ready. It's my first Super Bowl. I want to get a ring.
Sunday morning, the Cowboys will have a team breakfast, some last-minute meetings, a chapel service, and then they board the buses for Super Bowl 30. Now for the latest on the Steelers, let's go to Andrea Kramer.
Thanks, Mort. Saturday morning, the Steelers had their brief walkthrough at Sun Devil Stadium, then relaxed around here, many by the pool, before checking into another hotel, just like any other game. Bill Cowher's wife told me she's already started to see signs of face, her husband's intense side, but he told me he's clearly pleased with his team's mindset.
Well, we were at the stadium this morning. It was very loose. I think we had a chance to kind of get some of the jitters out, and told him this will be probably a long 24 hours now until we have to play. But, I like the focus. We really had a very good week of work, the attention to detail, the meetings, the practice, and they're loose. And I think that's the way we need to be. And now we just got to count down the time to get ready to play.
Sum up the team mood for me less than 24 hours before the game.
Focused. Yeah, focused. I think early in the week everybody got, running around out of their system. And now it's time to play the game, and I think we're just focused.
Saturday night, the coaches give the players their usual test on the overall game plan and different calls and formations. Sunday morning, players can watch film if they want, then the mandatory team meal and the long-awaited bus ride to Super Bowl 30. With the Steelers, I'm Andrea Kramer, ESPN.
Players still...
Our 90-minute Super Bowl edition of NFL Game Day. Neil O'Donnell's first Super Bowl, but is Troy Aikman the best postseason quarterback ever?
I hope that when I'm done playing that it has some place in history.
Emmett's new workout regime keeps him going and going and going, and Kevin Green's hair keeps growing and growing and growing.
I'm starting to recede up here, too, so I'm like trying to grow out all this hair. I'm going through this time in my life. It's a crisis, I don't know.
Both Rod Woodson and Charles Haley are banged up, but will play. Haley is looking for a record 5th Super Bowl ring. Two of the most versatile and exciting players in the game. Which one will steal the show? Tam or Slash?
I'm going to do whatever Cordell does. If he punted, I wants to punt.
20 years ago, Golden Richards and Joe Gilliam were in Super Bowl 10. Then their lives fell apart. Now both are trying to piece them back together. All that and more tomorrow at noon Eastern on NFL Game Day.
We'll be watching more Prime Monday, the sounds of success from the championship game in Pittsburgh and Dallas.
1, 2, 3, adrenaline bumping a little? Not really. All right, you all right? I stopped. Tough place to get the ball. I know. I stopped.
We're bitter. Dallas hit quickly by its rival San Francisco. Pittsburgh coming up 3 yards short against San Diego. So when both teams hosted conference championship games 13 days ago, the stage was set to erase a year of bad memories. Tonight in Soundtracks, the road to the Super Bowl through the sounds of the winners.
Let's go! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 Hey, listen, they get front on us, so what we got to expect? Play action. 1, 2, 3,
Adrenaline bumping a little?
Not really.
All right, you all right? I cop.
It's a tough place to get the ball.
I know. I cop.
He's open right now, Cordell, on that seam route.
Yeah, that's why I tried to fire it into him.
Yeah. If you could get him a little earlier, because he was that back and wasn't even close to him. That's, you know, you got it into him good.
Caught by Michael Irvin. Touchdown, Michael Irvin. The Cowboys have taken a 13-3 lead.
From outside the 5, back is O'Donnell. Looks. Now he's right. Gets a block, turns, looks for the end zone, fires, and it's out of the end zone for the touchdown. Flash, Stewart.
Hey, you know, he covers, man. You're chucking open up right away. You stayed with him, man. You just got to make a play. That's a good job.
If Favre gets hot, he can get real hot. Touchdown! What a bullet down the middle. And the Packers have come back to lead the ball.
Listen now, be alert for double slants out of Okie. Okie, be alert for double slants from slot. You're going to work back to the weak side of the trip set, looking for anything checking down. Look for 21 checking down.
Coming in, just dip and hit the corner. You got to look, ain't nobody going to be the corner. Yeah, you slow him down and accelerate. You're not going to accelerate like you do. Believe me, I know. Touchdown! Mike Turner! 47 yards from Jimmy Harbaugh. I love you, man. I love you, man. What I tell you?
Hand off to Emmett Smith. Hand off to Emmett Smith. Hand off to Emmett Smith.
Hand off Emmitt Smith to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys. Neil O'Donnell, he put that ball right on the money. And the Steelers look like they may extend and come back from the jaws of defeat to the thriller victory.
This has been a miracle season for Brett Favre, but the turnover may be too much to overcome.
They will give it to Bam off the right side. He's right in. The twice they're up. One more go, baby. One more go. Hand off Emmitt Smith at the 15. Oh, look at that hole. To the 10. He'll score. Emmitt Smith dances to the end zone.
Here we go for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
It is.
Steelers and the Cowboys in Arizona for Super Bowl 30.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Cowboy faithful would like to think that the only thing the Cowboys have to do to win their 3rd Super Bowl ring in the last 4 years is show up tomorrow at Sun Devil Stadium. Well, it's just not going to be that simple. CNN's Brent Weber takes a look at what each team is going to have to do to achieve victory.
For all the ways the Cowboys and Steelers differ, their Super Bowl game plans hinge on the same opening challenge: run the football. The Cowboys want to run it early and run it late. Emmitt Smith led the league in rushing and scored a record 25 touchdowns on the ground behind a behemoth interior line which features 4 Pro Bowlers.
Without those guys doing their JOB up front, Emmitt Smith would not be getting 1,700 yards, 1,500 yards, would not be MVP, would not be Rookie of the Year and all these things, would not be breaking records, would not be scoring touchdowns without the help of my teammates.
The main goal is obviously to stop Emmitt in their running attack. They've done a good job all year of getting Emmitt past the line of scrimmage and letting him pick and choose holes. And for the most part, if we don't stop Dallas's running attack, we're going to have a long day defensively.
The Steelers need to run because they love to pass, and everybody knows it. But what everybody may not know is Pittsburgh led the NFL in time of possession this year.
We have to be able to run the ball. We have to have balance. We got to try to find a way to keep making first downs to keep their offense off the field.
The Cowboys' secondary will be tested. Deion Sanders only came up with 2 interceptions this season, but remains the target to avoid, which is something Neil O'Donnell has the tools to do in an expanded Steelers passing attack.
They do things offensively that we haven't faced. They are a 5-receiver offense. They empty the backfield and they'll throw the football effectively from that formation. It puts tremendous pressure on your secondary.
We've been doing this for so long, I think all the receivers actually know all the positions, you know, and the routes at each different position. So it's something to want to look at, and we may be moving people around because it should be interesting to see who Deion matches up with.
O'Donnell's Cowboys counterpart, Troy Aikman, is the 2nd highest rated passer in playoff history. and has all-pro targets in Michael Irvin and Jay Novacek. Dallas protects Aikman like a precious commodity, giving up just 2 sacks in the 2 playoff games this year. The Steelers' 34 defense must get busy getting to the quarterback.
We're not going to sit back and react. I mean, we're going to come after them every now and then, try to change it up, and just not give them a steady diet.
Well, I'm concerned about the pressure they may get on me, but I can't over-concern myself with it. The responsibility it's going to be up to is our offensive line and our backs being able to pick those guys up, and hopefully they'll be able to do that.
The Cowboys may be heavily favored in this game, but it's not because of special teams play. Even with the addition of Deion Sanders, they have not returned a kick for a score this year. And of an even greater concern, the 202 return yards allowed to Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. In Phoenix, Brent Weber, CNN Sports.
Thanks, Brent. Okay, Ron.
We're outraged that Michael Irvin used profanity on national TV after the Dallas-Green Bay game. I heard from many fans who asked, what were they supposed to tell their children who idolize Michael Irvin? I said, tell them to stop. Irvin is a great football player, but a role model? Heaven help us. I know very few professional athletes who qualify as role models. They have too much money and free time, and for much of their lives, they've been allowed to bend rules the rest of us must follow. Role models? The Cowboys have always been viewed as the ultimate role models because, I suppose, of Tom Landry and Roger Staubach, but trust me, most Cowboys who played for Landry were no better role models than all the arrogant Michaels and Deons who run wild under Barry Switzer. Most of them always have and always will use lots of profanity. I'm in awe of their talent, but here on Super Bowl Eve, please provide your children with some valuable perspective. Michael Irvin is just a great football player. Mike?
It isn't often the not wearing the bandana to the press conference. I take away the point for that upside-down baseball cap that looks like a French fry scoop. I give him 1 point for talking to an 8-year-old correspondent. I take away a point for him dissing the sports reporters, a show he clearly needs to watch more carefully. Hey, D, try turning up the sound next time. Still, the biggest debit in the Deion ledger comes not from his verbalness himself, but from NBC, which is devoting 1 whole camera to Deion during tomorrow night's game. The Deion cam. If he spits, it's on tape. If he yawns, it's on tape. If he dances, prances, picks his nose, or picks his toes, it's on tape. This is far more Deion than anyone needs. NBC claims the public wants to see Deion all the time, but that's like feeding sugar to a rat, then blaming it when it comes back for more. The Super Bowl is already in danger of becoming more silliness than sports. A Deion cam only feeds that frenzy. Listen, NBC, forget this idea. I promise, if Deion does something worthwhile, he'll let you know about it. Mike?
Mitch James Washington, number 9. Super Bowl 10, Jack Lambert tossing Cliff Harris. Number 8, Super Bowl 18, Marcus changes direction, runs 74 yards for the touchdown against Joe and the Skins. Super Bowl 7, Bridge gets the touchdown against the Patriots. That was 10 years ago yesterday. Number 6, Jackie Smith's drop in the Super Bowl. Number 13, that was in the 3rd quarter. A lot of people think it came later in the game. All right, here we go, top 5. Super Bowl 17.
17 chip, 1, 2, ready, break. Okay, go, John. Now, look, I'm running. Now I'm coming. Go, John, go. Go, John, go. Go, John. Yes, 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 yes. Yes! I loved it.
That put Washington ahead to stay. Super Bowl 10, our 4th highest on the top 10 list. The acrobatics of Lynn Swann, who said he felt stiff and couldn't get loose before the game. 4 catches, 161 yards, 1 touchdown. Steelers win 21-17. Number 3, Super Bowl 28, Leon Lett on his way to putting Dallas up 59-17. Don Beebe, the definitive hustle play of all time to prevent the score. Number 2, Bills fans, it was 5 years ago tonight. Right about now, too, as a matter of fact. January 27, 1991 in Tampa, down 1. Great drive down the field. Scott Norwood, wide right, Giants 20, Buffalo 19. And number 1 is voted by you, Super Bowl 23, 34 seconds left, 92-yard drive, capped off Montana to Taylor, San Francisco 20, Cincinnati 16, voted by you as the number 1 Super Bowl moment as we honor Super Bowl 30. Notice there, guys, in the top 10, nothing before Super Bowl 10. I think that may be a demographic statement about how people use the internet more than anything else. So.
Piece from the Cowboys-Steeler rivalry. Terry didn't enjoy his first Super Bowl, and he doesn't reminisce much. In fact, part of the reason that he is not here this week is that he still bears the scars of a label from long ago. At his ranch in Texas, I talked to him. All right, tell me who some of these people are. Oh, Mike, is that you in high school? Oh,
Me in high school.
244 feet, right? So here you are, pretty much how you run your life.
That's the first Super Bowl. We were heavy underdogs, I believe. I'm not sure how much, to the Vikings. First time ever there. I had been benched that year. I'd lost my starting job to Joe Gilliam, had gotten the job back after about the 6th game of the season, and then lost it again to Terry Hanratty, and then finally they gave it back to me. And for me, as the quarterback and the image of being dumb and losing my job, it was a horrible week. Horrific week. Going to the Super Bowl that first time was a nightmare. When the Super Bowl was over and we won, it was the same old stuff to me. You know, despite me, we won anyway. You know, all he did was hand off. And I said, fine, get my ass away from this. And I went back to my little old farm down there and never saw or spoke to anyone for 6 months. And that was fine again.
So you had no joy in winning?
None. Zero.
Did you, now what about that image? Did you think that because you were from a small town, from a farming community, you got hung with that, or?
What, the dumb image? The dumb image really was started by a guy, a writer, because back in the early 70s, if a white quarterback lost to a black quarterback,
Oh, Joe Gilliam?
because of the image of the black quarterbacks was that they weren't smart. So if I lost my job to a black quarterback,
that's where the genesis of that?
Stupid, yeah.
Oh, is
I
that
never
amazing?
could-
That's so
Of course
ancient.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
And then the NFL goes, oh, no, that we didn't think like that, and that's bullshit. We all know they did. So that, when I lost my job to Joe Gilliam, that's how it started. Nobody will say it, but I know.
This is more of the Bradshaw Mansion, the estate.
Yeah, estate. I don't know where the bridge
Gosh, you
came
can't
from.
What is this? Do you have distinct memories, a clear memory of each Super Bowl?
Yes.
Like, what are the photographs in your head?
Super Bowl 10, touchdown, the bomb to Swan. Super Bowl 13 was probably the easiest Super Bowl. I was the MVP in the league, totally confident, knew the Cowboys would be hard. I really had a thing about throwing the ball down the field. And I think it's because of that attitude that my moments in professionally are really great moments. Most of my plays are big plays.
Dramatic, yeah.
Big plays, yeah.
What is your strongest memory of your final Super Bowl?
The final Super Bowl was the hardest Super Bowl. I knew in that football game we were never going to be back. This bunch was not going to be back.
You did know that? You
I
could
did,
feel
yeah.
it was the end?
I knew it, yeah. We were all in our 30s. The fourth one may have been as equal to the first one. I didn't enjoy it as much.
Why?
Pressure. And it's really stressful. That's why I can identify with Troy Aikman. It doesn't look very happy. And I know what he's going through. I've been there. And
where you feel the whole city on
God,
your...
yeah, you can't enjoy what you're doing because there's so much pressure. You got to win, you know? And if you don't win, they're all over your ass. The land back there is Troy's.
Oh, right.
That's Troy's land.
Then you stay on it.
I don't go on it. Although I may need his hay. I hope he doesn't hear
That's
this.
his hay right there?
That's his hay.
What do you think your image is now?
Oh, boy. I don't think it's changed. Once you get confidence in yourself, you know, your image is okay. You can live with it. Like the dumb thing's fine. After a while, it was a joke to me, too. But I was a good football player, and I knew it. Fine. You know, you can call me stupid? Fine. Okay. Listen, I'm stupid. And it's fun. And I do Forrest Gump. I mean, it's okay.
Here's your life in a box.
I haven't quite figured out what the plot is. But once I
I'll
do...
let you know. It's very clever.
A little at a time that I don't know.
Say I wasn't this, say I wasn't that. I really don't care, you know. I just know we won 4 Super Bowls.
Since you've been gone, it's hard to carry on.
Which of all the pictures in your house, Terry, would you say is the one that means the most to you?
Oh, gosh,
Let's see.
Leslie.
Well, here are your kids.
There's my kid. There's my dog,
There's
Eastwood.
your dog.
There's Greg and
our buddy Greg.
But I guess
That's
would
right.
have to be
Now you're talking.
that one.
Oh, yeah. What happened to those guys? One side note to Terry's story, he was so convinced that Joe Gilliam was the Steeler quarterback of the future that Terry asked Chuck Noll to trade him, Mike.
That's a good thing Chuck Noll said, Terry, I'm not going to.
He declined.
You know, society then, a black quarterback was much more newsworthy than it would be today. I mean, for example, Terry was just as upset when a white quarterback, Terry Hanratty, took his job as a black quarterback, Joe Gilliam. So it wasn't a racial thing in very sensitive racial times. Terry wins 4 Super Bowls as an AFC guy. Now he really doesn't have as much contact with the AFC. Who does he consider himself, an AFC guy or an NFC guy?
You know, ironically, now he feels almost more of an NFC guy. Of course, his job at Fox, he covers the Bears and the Cowboys and the Packers and the 49ers. And he said he's much more familiar now with the AFC, although it's a little, or the NFC, it's a little difficult for Terry because he lives in Dallas, where he's not the most popular figure.
That's right. Now, this year, we've seen both sides of that shot, from Aikman's place looking back at Terry's and Terry's place looking at Aikman's. So thank you. We'll see you on our Super Bowl coverage.
Thank
Leslie,
you, Mike.
as Prime Monday continues,
Image. Troy Aikman, dreamy bachelor. Neil O'Donnell, bearded Montana separatist. Y'all best get off my property. Advantage Steelers. On game day, you want a psycho. Owner's management style. Jerry Jones, J.R. Ewing. Dan Rooney, Floyd the Barber. Advantage Steelers. Special rule book dispensation. Plus, linemen can use controversial World Wrestling Federation eye gouging technique. Advantage push. Corporate sponsors, Dallas, Nike, Pittsburgh, Stosh Urbinski's World of Meat. It's not just a sandwich, it's a hoagie. Advantage Steelers. Local corruption, Pittsburgh, no-show union jobs. Dallas, no-show coaching jobs. Hey, you fellas figured out a game plan yet? Advantage push. Tailgate party vehicle, Pittsburgh. Lots of El Caminos and the occasional duster. Dallas, a big old Bentley with a bumper sticker that says, "You bump on my tail, I kick a you ass." Classy. Advantage push. And finally, heard round town. Pittsburgh, Cowboys suck. Dallas, Steelers suck. Y'all, advantage push. So there you have it. It's so simple when you break things down scientifically. In a blindside blitz, the advantage goes to the Dallas Cowboys. But hang in there, Pittsburgh. Miracles can happen, and if not, I guess you can use... You should know, I'm from Buffalo. And I still say Ernie Mills was out of bounds. Until next time, I'm Nick Bakay reminding you, the numbers never lie.
he's done it again. He's managed to crack us up with the tail of the tape. Let's go.
Saturday night edition of Prime Monday. 49-26, 52-17, 55-10, 46-10. But the cavalry approaches. Surely the Steelers and Cowboys can rescue us from all these one-sided Super Bowls. After all, there have been only 5 Super Bowls decided by 4 points or less. 2 of them featured Pittsburgh and Dallas. Ironically, both took place in Miami's Orange Bowl. Maybe that's why Barry Switzer was referring to the Orange Bowl earlier in the week. Hard to believe that their classic meeting in Super Bowl 13 was already 17 years ago. There wasn't much doubt who would be meeting in Miami. The Steelers rolled over the Oilers 34-5, and the Cowboys shut out the Rams in their respective championship games. Pittsburgh, Dallas, Green Bay, and Miami were at the time the only 2-time Super Bowl winners. The champion would become the first 3-time winner of the Vince Lombardi Trophy. After the teams traded touchdowns in the first quarter, the Cowboys made the first big play. Terry Bradshaw's play fake was a bit too good, but his fumble bounced right back into his hands, only to be stripped out by Mike Hegman as Hollywood Henderson wrestled Bradshaw to the ground. Hegman raced 37 yards for a 14-7 Dallas lead, a lead that would last only a minute 43, as Bradshaw responded with a pass to John Stallworth. That Stallworth turned into a 75-yard touchdown, tying the record held by Hall of Famers Willie Brown and John Mackey for the longest touchdown in Super Bowl history at that time. With the Steelers leading 21-14 late in the third, a series of misfortunes struck the Cowboys. First, Jackie Smith dropped what would have been the game-tying touchdown.
It's 3rd down and 3, Dallas at the Pittsburgh 10. Roger back to throw, has a man open in the end zone, caught, touchdown, drop! dropped in the end zone. Jackie Smith all by himself. Oh, bless his heart. He's got to be the sickest man in America.
After Dallas settled for a field goal, Bradshaw tested the Cowboys secondary deep. And as Benny Barnes and Lynn Swann got their feet tangled, the officials' flag flew. Pass interference on Barnes. Then, as Franco Harris busted up the middle, Charlie Waters' desperate attempt to plug the gap was inadvertently thwarted by the umpire. Touchdown Steelers, 28-17. The ensuing kickoff was scooped up by Randy White, but the man who this week became head coach of the Buccaneers, Tony Dungy, forced a fumble. On the next play, Bradshaw found Swann in the end zone, 35-17 Pittsburgh. The Cowboys would stage a furious rally in the closing minutes, but it was the Steelers and Chuck Noll that brought home their third Vince Lombardi trophy. One of the biggest differences between that game and the earlier Steelers-Cowboys Super Bowl lies in the fact that Super Bowl X was a David against Goliath battle. The Steelers were the defending Super Bowl champs, while the Cowboys were only a wild card team that needed that famous Hail Mary pass from Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson in the divisional playoffs just to get to the big game. Cowboys-Steelers won. Super Bowl X. That's tonight's Distant Replay.
It was a rivalry of image and style. They looked at us as being a physical, brutish, blue-collar football team. And the country viewed the Dallas Cowboys as a finesse, stylish, intelligent football team. We resented, and I think we still resent the fact that someone refers to, or anyone refers to, the Cowboys as America's football team. You know what America's football team is? The team that wins the Super Bowl. That's America's football team.
Steelers had the power, there's no doubt about it, but we had a desire. We went there to play. Even though we were young, we didn't go there to lose the ball game.
That's what we wanted to do going into the game, let them know that they were going to be in for a physical matchup and that this was not going to be any finesse-type contest.
The underdog Cowboys carried a 10-7 lead into the third quarter. But when Dallas's Cliff Harris taunted kicker Roy Gerela after a missed field goal, Pittsburgh's Jack Lambert retaliated and rekindled the Steelers' flame.
That just sent a fire through Lambert. Lambert just unloaded on him, boy.
We always felt that if there's going to be any intimidation at all, it's going to be on the part of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the referees, or the umpire, someone said to me, "You're out. You're out of here, Lambert." I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "This is a Super Bowl. You can't throw me out of this game." He said, "Well, then you get back in the huddle and you shut up." And I said, "Yes, sir."
He's a man of action, and he got us going in the second quarter of that game, and no question, he was the leader out there for us.
For the final 3 quarters of the football game, they just started pounding on us, and we couldn't do anything to retaliate.
It was pass protection eye and the I formation. Screw the pass. It's play, pass, or run, so the hell with the pass. You get pass for a pass influence with an eye, play the run.
With Tom Landry's offense being battered, Dallas still clung to a 10-7 fourth quarter lead until Pittsburgh's Reggie Harrison truly turned the tide with a blocked punt for a Steelers safety.
It just seemed like we were waiting for something to happen, and the blocked punt, just kind of served notice that we better get going here or these guys are going to beat us.
A Mike Wagner interception set up the second of 2 Gerela field goals. In a game of big plays for Pittsburgh, it was another Steeler, however, who had come up biggest from the start of the day.
I know it was very important to me for a variety of reasons to play in that game coming off a concussion in the AFC Championship game against the Raiders. And the first catch was the most important to me. I had to have it. And I did everything I had to do, which is all the training, all the discipline, from ballet to gymnastics to basketball. It was all in that one play.
And I remember all of us just looking at each other and saying, "Did you see that? I mean, that's incredible."
As the game's MVP, Lynn Swann dazzled the Super Bowl audience all afternoon. And it was his fourth and final catch that put Pittsburgh ahead 21-10 midway through the fourth quarter.
We had a blitz on, and I just had to hold my man enough to get him through, and then I, followed through and, hit him. Of course, probably explain why Bradshaw has been good here the last 20 years.
With Bradshaw knocked out and the Pittsburgh lead trimmed to 4 points with time running down, Chuck Noll surprisingly gambled on 4th and 9 from the Dallas 42.
Hanratty comes back into the huddle, and he says to me, "Eat up the clock." I said, "Eat up? I'm not an eat up the clock kind of guy. Franco is. He dances all over. He can reverse field and all that. I'm kind of an A to B kind of guy." And so here was the play. It was off tackle. The ball was snapped. Boom, bang, boom. I got 2 yards. 4 seconds elapsed off the clock. I'm thinking to myself, who called that stupid play? And so I always thought that was the worst call ever in the history of the NFL.
With Roger Staubach as our general, the success that we had against the Rams and certainly the Hail Mary game, we never felt that we were out of it.
On the final play of the game, however, the Cowboys finally ran out of miracles.
To me, it was very crushing because we had a heck of a team, kind of a Cinderella-type team, and I think the Steelers were the best football team that particular year, and we were the only one, or one of the few, that could give them a scare, and we gave them a heck of a scare and could have won it.
Super Bowl 10 was the best play at that time. I don't think there was a Super Bowl that was as close, as competitive, as exciting, presented the same kind of drama. And I think that's one of the reasons why people relish the matchup of the Cowboys and the Steelers.
Distant Replay is brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth and your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.